Hello everyone, welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. This is episode 47 and I am Sandra. You can find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk. That's why you'll find all the useful links and pictures and things for everything I talk about today. I'm Sandra Cherry HRT on Instagram, and you can find me elsewhere around the web as Cherry Heart. So hi everyone, I'm back so soon. I know, surprising, isn't it? I hope you've all been okay. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and thank you for coming to check me out if you're new. I hope you like it. I hope you like what you see. So the reason I've come back so quickly with a podcast today is because the last, I don't know how many podcasts I've recorded, I've talked about my usual things, you know, shared what I'm making and so on, but I keep forgetting to talk about something which I've been meaning to talk about for ages, and I keep thinking I'll do it next time, and then it doesn't happen because I tend to not want my podcast to get too long, and then if I end up talking about it and adding that in as well, it'll get too long. So I'm going to talk about it today, so we've got an extra. So what I wanted to talk about was I want to do a crochet along. Well, a crochet knit along, I guess. It's going to be a Cherry Heart crochet and knit along. I might just call it a make along because that would be easier. I don't know. Yeah, so I want to do a Cherry Heart make along because I've been collecting up some giveaway prizes. Some people have sent me some things and I've got some bits collected up. And I've had some of them a little while now, so I really need to do something and get some prizes out to people. It feels a bit long overdue. So at first I was just going to do a giveaway, but as I've collected up a few bits, I thought, well, let's make a sort of a bit of a, you know, a bit more of an event out of it, and we'll have a crochet along, a knit along. So it's going to be, because I couldn't think of anything else really, it's going to be a Cherry Heart crochet or knit along. So because I have crochet patterns and knitting patterns, you could do either. And if I actually get my bag pattern up and running, you could sew something using a Cherry Heart pattern as well. So hence, I guess it can be a make along. So it's going to start now, today, because why not? Let's get into it. And I'm going to run it until the end of June. So you've got the rest of May and then you've got all of June to make something and enter it into the giveaway, the make along. So I'll open up some threads on Ravelry. I'll open up a chatter thread today so that you can start talking about what you might want to do and so on. And I'll also do some finished object threads, but I guess there's not quite so much of a rush for those. But what I was going to do is I was going to separate it up into two finished objects threads, because obviously I've got paid for patterns and I've got free patterns. So it's not that you have to use a paid for pattern or anything like that. You can totally use a free pattern and that's absolutely fine. But I'll probably have a thread for each, because like some of my free patterns are just like tiny little things, like little hearts and sort of some stars and things. So if you want to do that and enter, that's fine, you can. But I'll have a thread for those like freebie patterns, and then I'll have another thread for sort of some of my other patterns as well, which will probably take a bit more time. Yeah, so that's the only thing to remember, is just have a look at those, make sure you're posting whichever one yours is in the right finished object thread. So I'll label them up nice and clearly on Ravelry on the title so you can see that it's a free pattern or paid for pattern, finished objects. And you just post in the correct one rather, and then you can win some prizes. So let me get and show you what prizes I have, because I've got quite a few and it's quite exciting. I'll probably bundle some bits up together as well, because otherwise I'll be sending out a million prizes and it'll get a bit crazy. So first up, I've got two patterns that I've been kindly donated. Excuse me, because I'm probably going to have to look at my notes for these, so I'll put a picture up. So first of all, I've got the Bride by the Sea shawl. I'll try and put it there, see if that works, or maybe it can come in. Yeah, anyway, that was kindly donated by Jen Sheelan of jensheelan.com. So thank you ever so much for that, Jen, and that's a really beautiful pattern. So we've got that one I can give away. I've also got from the lovely Naomi, who has very kindly donated a pattern to us before, and she's donated a pattern this time, which is her The Only Way Is Up cowl, which is this one here. So that's a really pretty one, a great happy scrappy project. She very kindly gave me a copy of that pattern as well, so I must do that soon. So she is Cozy Cute Knits. She's Cozy Cute Knits, that's .wordpress.com for her site, and that's Naomi Buchanan. So there's that one. And then I've also got this little lovely. Now this is a lovely Notions pouch with, I think, some goodies inside. This was from the lovely Lynn. That's her little label there. But she's the Stitching Fairy. Stitching Fairy Crafts, I think her website is. I'll pop links to all these people, by the way, in show notes so that you know, in case you want to look up. But she did me this gorgeous cherries themed Notion pouch with some goodies inside. So there's that one that will be a prize. I've got a lovely Crochet Luna pin that lovely Claudia gave to me when I met her in America, in California. I've got, so I'm trying to be careful and not crinkle too much. I've got this is a lovely set. These are by Darlene from Awesome Granny. I've talked about her on the podcast before because she very kindly gave me this for a giveaway, which feels a bit like, I think there might be a matching pouch in there as well. So really lovely prize, lovely sheepy fabric. Yeah, and she's got a little loop on there as well. I've got a lovely Halloween themed project bag from Darlene, which I can't wait till Halloween comes round, till October comes round, so I'm going to use that. She does a really nice, good sized project bag as well. And also, the Cherry Heart discount voucher is still running in her shop, so that's Awesome Granny bags, and if you quote Cherry Heart in the discount code, you'll get 15% discount. So if you can't wait to win the prize, or if you don't happen to win that particular one, you can pop along and get a discount. I've also got some lovely yarn to give away. I have got this beauty, and this is from Holland Handmade. That was very kindly donated by Erin, and this is one of her semi-solid colourways. I love those semi-solid tonal yarns. That is so pretty. It's kind of like bluebells, isn't it, that colour? Which is kind of appropriate for now. Yep, so that one's beautiful. And then we also have a lovely one from Regina, from her Black Regina. Isn't that beautiful? This is her Vintage Ornaments colourway. She's popped giveaway with a heart on it. So she very kindly popped one of these in for me when I ordered from her last, and she gave one for me to give away to you guys too. So that one's beautiful. And I've also got some other bits and bobs as well that I'll be putting in. I think I've got some more yarn that I can donate as well. So I'll probably package a few things together so that you'll perhaps get a yarn and a project bag or something. And yes, and I might make one of my project bags to pop in as well. So the only other thing to say, I think, is better have a hashtag. So I guess just Cherry Heart Make Along, really. Cherry Heart MAL. That seems reasonable, doesn't it? Yeah. So pop along to the chatter thread, have a look at my patterns page, see if there's anything you fancy making, or, you know, if you've got one that you've been meaning to do, now might be a good time because you might win a lovely prize for it. So there we go. I hope that sounds good to you. I hope, you know, I hope you'll join me. Yeah, hopefully it'll be fun. So next I'm going to show you an incoming goodie because apparently I'm doing everything backwards today. Normally that's at the end. I'm moving it up to the beginning because I want you to see this because I think it's kind of funky. So my next knit crate has arrived. Much better this time. It came in this lovely box. First time mine just came in like a jiffy bag, which was all right, but I kind of thought, that's a bit boring. And the little sort of all the card bits got a bit bent and bashed up. But this time it came in this lovely box, which I much prefer, and it's kept everything nice as well. So this box is contemporary is the theme, which at first I thought, not liking these dark colours, not sure this is going to be my thing really. And then this is the pattern, so then I started to think, oh, okay, this might be alright actually. So I quite like this one. What's it called? Daxis? I think it's a shawl. It's kind of hard to tell from that picture, but I guess since it's just sort of draped, I guess it's a shawl. And then the crochet pattern is this one, which is the clutch bag. What she just called it? Cabled clutch. And there's the designer name there. So those are the two patterns. And then you've got two skeins of this. Now, this may split opinion because it is, oh, did you see? Because it is sort of monochrome. But I love it. See what you think. Look at that. So it's a mulled yarn is what they call it. But I just sit and think, baker's twine. But like, you know, not rough, horrible string. Nice, soft, squidgy baker's twine. I really like it. So this is fingering weight, which is good. So the colourway is Grey Twist. It's a mild sock, they call it. So it's got 40% merino wool, 40% Peruvian Highland wool, and 20% nylon. So that's a really nice blend. And I was a bit worried because it's got the Highland wool in, because I'm, you know, sensitive to the itchy. But actually, it's fine. It's not a problem. So I could make the shawl thing. But what I actually thought was, a little while ago I was looking for some mild yarn to make some socks with, and I couldn't really, this was last year, and I couldn't really find exactly what I was looking for. I found something that was kind of close in the end, and I made some socks out of it, and they actually went wrong and came out too small, so I ended up giving them to my little bubble-ubs. But this is like a second chance. Now I can make a pair of socks for me. And this is kind of perfect. And what I was thinking was, so I was thinking I could add like maybe, oh look, for heels and toes and whatnot, or maybe this one, kind of electric-y green. Oh, what do you think? It might have to be the pink, I don't know. What would you do? Heels and toes maybe, or maybe just, I might do my little sort of stripe around the top of the cuff thing. So I love that. I think that's really exciting. But yes, the reason I was showing it earlier in the podcast, because I wanted to let you know that I've got a discount code for that as well. So I'll pop the link in the show notes, but if you could pop along and follow the link in my show notes and type in the code Sandra20, you can get 20% off your first order. Now it's a monthly subscription, so if you sign up you get 20% off your first order, and then you can keep the subscription going if you want to, but if you just want like that box, you can use your code if you haven't ordered before, but then you can just cancel after that if you want to. So there's no sort of penalty for cancelling. So you could just get that box if you wanted to. But I don't know, it's quite nice just having it pop up in your little letterbox, and it's like a little present. It's quite fun. So yeah, so I thought I'd mention that. So link in the show notes and Sandra20 to get yourself 20% off. So it's quite a good deal. I think it works out at like $35, which I guess is, can't remember what I said last time, £25-ish, maybe a bit more. I don't know, I can't do the maths quick enough. But anyway, yeah, but you can get your 20% off that. But for 2 skeins of yarn and 2 patterns for $35, it's pretty good, I think. So let's move on to the more normal section of the podcast and show you what I've been making, what I'm up to. So first, of course, is this. This is something I've done, something I've made. I've finished my Breath of Air shawl. Let me just show you. Actually, I'll put a bit of video in to save making noise. Yeah, so that's me prancing around in said cardigan. So, yes, last time I was talking about this and it was work in progress. And I was having a few issues with it. I had some confusion around the gauge and it sort of put me off a little bit, because although what I had made so far, which was just the body panel, that was okay. I sort of thought I'd still got to add the sleeves, I still had to add the neck, and I thought, oh, this is, you know, with me in garments, it sort of starts off all right and then there's generally a bit where it all goes wrong, and I thought this is bound to be the bit where it all goes wrong. But yes, after I'd spoke about it on the podcast, I got a message from lovely Claire, who, I don't know if you want me to mention your Instagram name, Claire, so I'll perhaps not say, but yes, Claire messaged me and sort of said, oh, well, actually, I've made one of these, and, you know, do you want to, here's what I did, sort of thing. So we were chatting away, and that was really good because she kind of answered all my sort of queries and questions and the bits I was worried about. So yes, that was really helpful. So thank you, Claire. So, and I saw the picture of hers and hers had come out really nice. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm inspired to continue now. So yeah, so I kind of followed some of her advice. I'd already blocked the main bit, so that was fine. So I started with the collar. I've added that on, so that was okay, easy enough, no problems. I don't particularly sort of love this. It's supposed to roll over, that's supposed to happen. I don't particularly love that look, but you know, it's okay. Looks alright, doesn't it, on the camera? The sleeves I did a little bit different still. You're supposed to make these separately and then sew them on. And I thought, I can't be bothered to do that. So I kind of followed the instructions backwards and just crocheted them directly on. So I sort of started at the sleeve hole and crocheted down. But I thought, since this is going, the stitches, you work it back and forth, this is going this way, does it really matter if they point down rather than up? It's not that it's not gonna match this either way. I think it looks alright, doesn't it? Yeah, they kind of worked out quite nice. The fit's quite good on them, as you see. I haven't actually blocked the sleeves because it was kind of awkward, so I just didn't. Yeah, and I just added a little bit. I was a little bit worried about the length, and it's still not massively long. It could have been longer, but so I just added a little bit of a sort of more to the edge. Not a massive amount, but I kind of like, gives it a kind of finished look, which I quite like. Yeah. And then my last sort of bit of trouble I had is the button. So there's supposed to be a button on this side, but it doesn't say. So you make a buttonhole, actually. Let me show you, because I thought this was odd as well. If I can get the thing off to show you. So you make a buttonhole, which I did, but A, it's huge. I thought, that's fine, I've got big buttons. But when you put the collar on, it's like it's right down here. So when I did it up, it just flaps down in a sort of weird way. Didn't like it, wasn't happy with that. So I thought, well, I'll just do it up the other way now. I could have sewed up the buttonhole, the other buttonhole, I suppose, but. So I put a button on here, and I just added one to the inside because there's nothing to keep this bit up. So if you don't, so when I had this button in here, this bit would just slump down like this. So I didn't like that either. So I thought that's fine, I'll just put a button on this side and then it will hang nicely. So I sewed them on, but it just pulled it all. Because this is where I start to get incoherent when I start to explain something. Because the fabric is very sort of meshy and light and it kind of moulds around the shoulders nicely, which is great. When you put sort of buttons on it and it's actually fixed in place like that, it would pull this down like this, which looked rubbish, and then this one would pull this down like this, and it just kind of looked wrong. So I ended up doing what most other people seem to do from looking at the pictures, and I used a shawl pin instead, and I just kept the button there. So once this is fixed firmly in place, this button here doesn't seem to pull quite so much. So that's what I did. That's a lot of ramble, wasn't it? But anyway, I think it looks okay. I just got to remember always that to put my shawl pin away so I know where it is, so I can find it when I want to wear it. But yeah, one finished object. So that's good. Second finished object. So it's socks, of course. So these again were work in progress last time. And apparently I have absolutely nothing to say about them. The yarn is hand dyed by Kate and I love it. I really love it. It's hard to sort of tell on the camera, but it's got all these really subtle sort of flashes of pink and blue in it. Let's see if you can pick it up in this one, because see, sort of they're there and it's little sort of pinky. Ah, of course, the usual bark interruption. But sitting outside because it's quite, the sun has come out now, so he's sunbathing on the warm wood. But of course, if next door's dog barks, he has to go and bark, obviously. Right, that's the hound silenced. He's come in, he's reluctantly sat in his bed. So where were we before we were rudely interrupted by barking houndlets? Yeah, socks. So I told you about the yarn. I can't remember the colourway name. It's on my Ravelry page though, so I'll pop the link to that in the show notes as I normally do. And yes, the pattern will be coming. Yeah, so it's just my sort of standard sort of go-to things that I use in sock patterns. So yeah, I wanted to get those noted down. And then whips. So other incoming goodies. Oh good, now there's a helicopter going overhead. Yay! I don't know if you'll hear this, but I suppose I better pause just in case. Oh, I think the neighbour's going to start banging now too. Woo! This is my lucky day. Okay, let's quickly get this whip done before anyone else makes any noise. So this is in one of my new project bags that I've been making. Look, I tried some cord tie in this one because I kind of get fed up of making the ties. So I thought this cord might be kind of good, and I thought it kind of suit this bag. So this is a pair of old jeans, lovely recyclable. This is another finished object actually, isn't it? Because I don't think I've shown you this before. Hey, check it out, lots of finished objects. Yeah, so recycled jeans, recycled curtains. This was purchased. This was recycled from I don't know what. And then the pockets are, I'll get some of that fabric. That's just fabric I had in stash. Yeah, so I went for the full-on pockets. So I've done two like this. Oops, the boring side, slightly more interesting side. Yeah, I've done two like this, and I think I've really got the pocket stuffed now. So I've got a plain version and a pocketed version that I know that I've got down in a way that I'm happy with now. So I've started writing up the pattern. So I know people have been asking me what I'm using for this. So it is just something I have devised myself. Not that it's any great sort of work of genius or anything, but it's just sort of the size and shape that I liked, that sits nice and open as I like. It's got, I like the pocket version personally, but you don't have to have that. Yeah, and I like that it's drawstring. It's kind of all of my favourite things. Perhaps I should call it my favourite things bag. Anyway, tangent. Yeah, so I got some pins from lovely Jules at So Sweet Violet. So I got my bee, which I didn't actually bring up, to put on my bee bag that I showed you last time. And I just feel like I'm saying that a lot, that's why I'm making a funny face about it. Yeah, so I had to have a bee in my honeycomb bag, didn't I? Perfect. And then, of course, when I went on her site, I saw that one and I was like, oh yeah, I did really like that one, that's cute. So I got that. And then I got a little something else as well. And there was Mabel, beautiful Mabel there. And I thought, oh no, I'll save something else for next time. I've ordered enough, you know. But then Jules put a little Mabel in for me. Ooh, I was so pleased. I was so excited to see little Mabel's face in my parcel because she's so cute. And then afterwards she was talking about it on her podcast, you see, when I hadn't ordered it. And I was like, oh, I really wish I'd got one. And now I've got one anyway, so thank you, Jules, you're the best. And the other little thing I ordered, I'm about to show you on here, which is a little birdie stitch marker. Is it going to focus on that? Focus. I think you can see it. Can you see it? I hope you can see it. Camera is so awkward. There. I think that's got it. Yeah, so I started another sock because... Why did I do that particularly? Oh, I know. This is another incoming goodie, actually. I'll have to put a picture in for you because I didn't bring it up and I can't bother to go and get it. I got my new winder. So ages ago on Emma's channel, Potter and Bloom. So this still sags a bit, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, ages ago on Emma's podcast, Potter and Bloom, she showed this lovely wooden Knit Pro winder that she's got. It's called the Mega Ball winder. So it's Knit Pro here, I think Knitter's Pride in America. And she said she'd sort of got one and it was really nice. And I was thinking, oh, because I'd kind of thought in my mind, I'm sure you can get nicer winders than the sort of, I've just got like a standard plasticky one. And I thought, I'm sure you can get better ones. I'll have to look into this. And then I saw her podcast where she'd got one. I was like, that's perfect. That is what I want. I will get one then because, you know, you use them so much over the years. It is more expensive, obviously, but, you know, it's been years and I've been using it. So I will get my money's worth out of it. So I thought, yeah, it's worth investing in a nicer one. But of course, I couldn't find one anywhere. I think she put her podcast with this up in, I think it was last year. And I was going to get it for my birthday, but I couldn't find it in stock anywhere. And so we've been looking and husband, I don't know, I think because I couldn't see it and he was sort of, and because I'd mentioned I wanted it for my birthday, he started looking as well to see if he could find it. And then every so often he will look for it. I've kind of forgotten about it because oh well, they never seem to be in stock anywhere. But anyway, the other day he was saying, oh, there's one of those winder things you wanted. I was like, oh really? Is it like a million gazillion pounds? Because obviously most of them are sort of shipped over, I think, from America, so it tends to be a little bit pricey. And he said, oh, no, not too bad. It's sort of one of the cheaper ones I've seen, actually. So I'm like, oh, I can't spend my birthday money now. He's like, oh, you just get it anyway. Because he's lovely. Yeah, so I got that anyway. So the reason I'm mentioning that now is because I wanted to wind something up. So I had to find something to wind. So this is a cake using the new ball winder, which is really pretty. Isn't that lovely? And look at that yarn. Oh my God. It is so beautiful. Makes such a nice cake. It doesn't sort of, it's more kind of solid than my normal ones. Let's just get a normal one to show you. Yes, let us contrast and compare. So this is one that I wound up on my old winder. So it makes quite a nice cake, but sort of, I've heard people say about winding these ones twice to sort of get them a bit more, not that they fall apart exactly, but they can sort of get a bit slumpy. I don't know how to describe it, but that's fine. That's, you know, it works well. That's great. And then this is one made with the new one. So it just seems to feel a little bit more like it's going to stay together nicely. Yeah, so there you go, in case you're interested in what they look like. Anyway, the new winder it's lovely to use. It's got a much bigger sort of yarn holding bit, so you could wind up a much bigger ball cake. You could wind up a much bigger cake, a lot more yardage if you wanted to. Not that I've often had a problem with that, but just it's a bonus if you know, if that's something you need. But just the winding action, it's just so smooth and lovely, and I like the cakes. Anyway, that was a massive tangent, wasn't it? So this was the one I wound up first, just to test it out, because I was excited. And this is a Cosmic Strings yarn, Knit Cosmic Strings. And I think it's called Afternoon Tea, I believe. So I kind of pulled the hank out on a whim. I thought, oh, that's quite nice. I'll just do socks with it. Go-to project, do socks, can't really fail, great. And then I undid it, I unwound it and put it on the Swift. And it sort of just had these big blobs of this inky blue on it, and I was like, oh, it's just gonna pull and I'm not gonna like it. This is gonna be a huge mistake. It's gonna pull horribly. So I kind of was a bit put off, I must admit, because I don't like the pooling. I know some people don't mind, some people like it. I don't like it. But yeah, so then I wound it up into this, and I thought, but this looks really gorgeous though. Maybe it'll be alright. I'll try it. Maybe it will be okay. And here's how it's coming out. And it is pooling. But I did this cuff, and it pulled like crazy, as you can see. But I love it. I don't know why. I don't know why I love this pooling and not other pooling, but I love it. Yeah. And then as I've sort of gone down into the pattern, the pooling has changed slightly, because I generally do more stitches on my cuffs because I haven't got a shapely ankle. I have an unshapely ankle. Fat ankles. Yeah, so I generally do more stitches on the cuff. I've also got quite wide instep, so this helps get over the heel area easier if I do more stitches there. And then I decrease down for a normal leg. Yeah, so that's changed the pooling. But I really like this pooling. That's 72 stitches. Pooling on 72 stitches and pooling on 64 stitches down on the leg. Yes, and this is going to be another of my sort of pick and mix variations, so a slightly different cuff. This is the normal cuff, 1 by 1. This is twisted rib cuff, and then I've got another little pattern variation to try, and then I've got a different heel to pop in here. So when I've done this one, I'll have done all 3 variations, so that's good, but I'm not happy with my short row heel yet. So I need to try a few more variations out before that's good to go. And here we are, seamlessly merging into pips, because that's the pattern I'm talking about, isn't it? Pattern in progress, a pip. Yes. So I've been doing some more research on the short row heel thing. Yeah, and I've got a few more ideas that I want to try out. So once I get something I like there, I might reknit the short row heel sock. Yes, while we're on the subject of pips, actually, I have got another pattern coming out. So my Garters Ahoy shawl, which is this one, I'm going to bring that out. So it's all ready. I got it tech edited and everything before I went on holiday, but it just needed some testing. So that's all done. So that's going to come out. So I'll probably pop that out today or tomorrow. So look out for that if you wanted that one. So it's just it's pretty much all garter knit, more or less, apart from it's got a little detailing on the border. So it should be, it's mostly mindless, which is what I wanted when I was making it. I just wanted something simple. So it's made with that in mind. The only bit that sort of needs a bit of brain power really is to just set up the border. Not because it's difficult, but just, you know, stitch count. If your stitch count's right, it's easy peasy. But yeah, it's easy to lose one or two, so yeah, that's the only bit which might be a little bit tricky. But other than that, it's pretty good for beginners, I would have said. So yeah, so I shall bring that out later this week or over the weekend or something. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we've talked about everything now. I've already done incoming goodies, so this is the end of the podcast. So thank you so much for sticking with me through the whole thing, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall hope to see you next time. Yeah, enjoy your lovely crafting time in the meantime. Okay, bye.